Yeah. So in Germany, yes, Fender has won the lawsuit and sent out a bunch of letters to all these little guitar shops telling them that you cannot make the S-type guitar shape any longer, or you're going to have to pay me 250 Deutschmark, I mean euro, if you want to not get sued out of your ass into oblivion. And on top of that, you have to destroy all of your S-type guitar shape. This is not fair. You steal from Fender. You take our IP. And before we get into the video, make sure that you go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, guys, where we will be talking all about heavy metal and guitar music non-stop. Okay, back to the video. Alright, that's enough cosplaying as a European. We are in the tracksuit and the rose colored glasses because we're actually going to be taking a look at this from a little bit of a more rosy point of view rather than the absolute hatred that Fender is getting right now. Oh my god, they are losing their minds over this one. However, every now and then, I'll tell you what, Europe doesn't get everything right, but sometimes they knock it out of the park. Whatever could you be talking about, Jake? Well, I'll tell you guys. First, with the iPhone, how all the phones now have to have the Type-C charger. And then again, with the microtransactions in video games, you can't just, make somebody pay $10 and they get 501 tokens, but the skin costs 510 tokens. You can't do that anymore. Europe nails it. So are they nailing it with this whole Fender lawsuit thing? My name is Jake, and we are going to talk about Fender today and how they are just bullying the small guitar makers out of Europe into submission. Now, a lot of people seem to be taking this point that Fender is really cornering the market and monopolizing on it and, kind of putting down the little guy. This is not a good look. The optics on it are wild. But I really see this more as, it's like that, but it's market domination. They're absolutely taking over the entire guitar market for the super strat, double cut style guitars. Now, every guitar brand has a super strat. And if you're like Ola England and you're making your double cuts now, I would be upset, super duper upset. I wouldn't be shocked if, this does tank a little bit of the sales. However, I think that this move is not coming out of a want to be a bully, but more so out of a strike, out of desperation. Now, it's no lie. People are hurting for money. People don't have money nowadays. So that means that nobody is buying guitars like they used to be, especially new guitars. A lot of musicians that I know who are, actively gigging or play consistently are not buying brand new guitars. They're buying used market stuff, or they're going to get a Harley Benton and slap some bare knuckles in it and make it into a sick thing. Even I, with my Jackson guitar right here, I just got the cheapest Jackson I could find, and then, we just upgraded it until it was a gig-ready instrument. Does that mean that ESP and Schecter and Ibanez and PRS and any Solar and you name it, all the other guitar brands that make an S-type body shape, a super strat body shape, are going to be hosed and have to destroy all of their back orders? It could mean that. But if it does mean that, and Fender goes through with this and they kind of monopolize that whole style of guitar, that means you got to give the people what they want. So that means we want the stainless steel frets. We want all of the modern upgrades. We want strats with Floyd roses. So Fender, here are some ideas for you guys. People want you to drop the Jackson 8-string that you made for the guy in Sleep Token. And people are going to want the single cut baritone. And people are gonna want the 7-string Strat, okay? I want an 8-string Stratocaster. Do me one better. If you're gonna take away from everything that everyone else is doing, at least give us a little bit. Garza has a 7-string Strat. I want a 7-string Strat too. Fender, I'm just saying, one hand taketh, the other hand giveth. Right? You see how there's an ebb and flow going on here, guys. Although you may not be able to get your hands on some of these dope guitars that are put out by all those companies that we mentioned before, don't forget, Fender owns a lot of companies, so you'll still be able to get a lot of dope stuff. So that's kind of just my thoughts on the whole Fender controversy right now. End of the day, that is business. And in the United States, you know, the S-type body, the Super Strat or Stratocaster body style was public domain, right? Everyone's allowed to do that in the United States because we're America. However, in Europe, it is not the same thing. And that really sucks for all of the European builders, all the small European guitar brands. I feel bad for you guys. I really do. But like I said, guys, I don't think this is coming out of a want to bully people. I think this is coming out of a act of desperation. You know, like no one's buying guitars anymore. I think Fender at its core is struggling, and they're kind of trying to figure out a way to stay afloat. The global economy is crashing. Nobody has money. No one's able to afford anything sick anymore. And you know what? At the end of the day, I'm kind of jumping around between topics. I'll have to edit this so it's a little bit more cohesive. At the end of the day, Fender, I think we're all sick of seeing, you know, $5,000-$6,000 relic guitars. I personally don't know anybody who likes a relic guitar. They're not my style. If I'm going to pay that much money for a guitar, I would rather it look sick and play perfect than look like it's beat to crap by somebody else and still play kind of rough. Because I'm not gonna lie, guys, like I've played some of the Masterbuilts and they're amazing. They're really good. Some of them I like, some of them I don't. It kind of depends. I would much rather just play like the Gus G Jackson Strat. So like I said, guys, this isn't a move out of, you know, wanting to bully the little guy. Maybe it is, I don't know. But I think it's more of a move of, you know, fighting to stay alive, if that makes sense. Oh, man, am I gonna have to edit this so it makes sense, because I am all over the place today, guys. I got the tracksuit on and it just made me go bonkers, just full nanners. But yeah, that's my opinion on it. Fender, if you're gonna take it away and, you know, make it so nobody else can play the same game that you guys do, you gotta give us something that they want. You gotta hook the Europeans up with something super sick. You can't just take away and expect the Europeans to not absolutely lose their mind. All right, guys, so that's the video. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe on the video. Tell me your thoughts. Tell me if Fender is a bully, or if, you know, this is just the last act of desperation. This is like the death throes of somebody struggling to stay alive. I really am curious to see what the conversation turns into. So let's chat down there, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Peace. I hope I don't get like 1,000 unfollows because of my German accent, or at least my attempt at a German accent. You know, Fender actually is like a really important brand for me personally. My first guitar was actually a Fender Strat clone that my brother won at Knott's Berry Farm, and then my buddy got a Squire Starcaster at Costco and replaced the neck with a Fender neck, made it into like a parts caster, and I was always so jealous, and it was super sick. Yeah, the first show I ever played, I played guitar in a band that did a Sublime cover at the Fender Museum in Corona. So Fender is kind of very near and dear to my heart. I will defend Fender to the best of my ability. You know, the CEO, what's his name? Bud Cole. Yeah, Bud Cole. That is quite a look you've got going on, Bud. I think he's just looking out for his company. You know, end of the day, that's probably all that it is. And we just don't understand what's going on behind the scenes. So I'll see you in the next one, guys. Peace.